I did start recording now, though.
Yeah, I heard the...
I'm gonna go pee. So you want something to drink? Do you want your water?
No, I'm okay.
Turn the camera. So what do you do?
I act, and I nanny, and I do some photography, and I write stuff, and I make stuff.
What do you not do?
Drugs, and skydiving, and touching spiders.
Why don't you skydive?
I think for me the risk isn't worth the reward. Like, I think the thrill of like falling out of an airplane like isn't worth the risk of like doing something wrong and having something bad happen for me.
Do you know anyone that's died skydiving?
No.
Do you know anyone who's died?
Yes.
Who?
My drama teacher, a couple of friends from high school, a previous employer, a friend that I used to dog sit for, and I think that's everybody.
How many funerals have you been to?
0. I went to one, like, I don't know if it was a wake, it was for my drama teacher, but it was like for that was like a kind of like a school gathering or whatever for him, like a memorial, I guess. Is the best way.
Huh. So what do you hear in your head?
Like when? Just anytime?
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to me why Stan's a bodyguard and they meet together.
I think like the plans I have for the day. I think like doing calculations.
What type of calculations?
Mostly like doing like, okay, for like monthly budget calculations kind of stuff. Like figuring out like, okay, well, I make this much and I can pay this and stuff like that. And then I think like funny stuff, you know, like funny stuff from like movies or whatever, or songs that like seem applicable to the situation. You know?
Really?
Sometimes.
Like, so for instance, like what?
Well, so there's this Tenacious D song where like part of the song they go like, fuck yeah. And like sometimes when I have like moments of like triumph and celebration, like I think of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you... So it's not in your voice, it's in their voice. Like you have snippets of stuff that just like plays in your head.
Yeah. I think so.
How often do you do calculations in your head?
Oh, like probably once a day or once every other day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you hear in your head when you're happy? So it's like snippets of things. Is it like...
Yeah, I think just like when I'm like really happy, like goofy happy, I think it's just like goofy songs and like funny stuff like that. And yeah. I think mostly.
What do you hear in your head when it's like when you feel negative?
When we feel negative,
Yeah. Like, do you turn against yourself, or do you know what I mean? Like,
I think probably. I think when I feel negative, I usually see it as like my own doing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I made bad choices, so this is why things are the way they are. You know? Yeah. Like, I don't feel like I have like an inner monologue of like, oh, you're. Like, I don't feel like I have any like specific like sound bite that I can like pinpoint to. Like, it's more just like feeling bad, you know?
okay, so it's like when things are good, it's not like you're talking to yourself like.
Oh no, I do talk to myself
Okay.
when things are good.
But so like when things go bad or whatever, it's just like feelings. It's not. They don't get translated into words that like you say to yourself or anything like that.
Not really, no. I don't think so. I cry though. I cry like a lot when I feel bad. Yeah.
Can you cry on cue?
No. No.
When you're acting, like if you have to cry in a thing, like how do you do that?
I get really stressed out. I'm like, oh my god, how am I gonna do this?
and that's how you cry.
And that, well, basically, like when I'm acting in a thing, and I'm supposed to cry. I haven't had like too many of those, but I'm just kind of like, I have certain things that to think of that make me like really sad.
Yeah.
And I kind of like think about them, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then I'm just like,
well, there's nothing there.
yeah, which is like, it's so weird because it is a weird thing because like in real life, like I cry like that, like so easily,
Yeah.
but then like acting, like I don't.
When's the last time that you cried?
Oh.
Not, you don't have to tell me like the reason for it, but was it like the past few days?
Yeah,
or
probably.
Really?
Probably, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't specifically remember, but I also cry like when I'm like sincerely moved and things like that.
I've never seen you cry. Being sincerely moved.
Well, like if I.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
When what type of things sincerely move you?
Like when I think about how much like my family loves me and like how lucky I am.
Oh my gosh, you're about to cry right now. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is it about your family for you?
They're just like really wonderful.
Yeah. What's wonderful about them is, do you know what I mean? Like, is it you just have like a kinship, or it's a closeness, or what is it?
I think I just feel like really lucky that I got to be like in the family that I'm in, and
Yeah.
that we were little friends and everything, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How do you guys? How many times or how often do you all get together?
Everybody getting together is probably like 3 to 4 times a year, and then I call my mom every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Did you
then,
call your mom today?
Yeah.
What did you guys talk about?
I just told her like that I did the Story Parts plays, and then I was on my way here.
Yeah. What did she say?
She just like wanted to hear how it went and stuff.
Right. It's not like you call her and she's like, "Fuck off."
No.
Right.
No, like she like schedules her day to like give a phone call from me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's
What's
like
the
really
longest you've ever
sweet.
been on the phone with her?
Like usually, like we talk for like 30 to 60 minutes every day.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just talk to her while I'm driving and stuff,
Yeah.
or like I take a walk and stuff.
What's your mom's name?
Kathy.
What is she? Is she funny? She's funny when I talk to her on the phone. all the
She's
time.
funny. I think like she's definitely funny. She's smart. I think her main thing might be nice and kind and supportive.
Is that where you get it from?
I think so.
Yeah. Does Tom ever get on the phone with your mom?
If we're on road trips, I'll put it on speakerphone and then we all talk together.
What's like their dynamic, the two of them?
Just my parents think Tom's like a very good boy, and like I think they're just like really happy that I have such a nice boyfriend.
How did you two meet? I forget.
Online.
Got it.
Yeah.
What'd you do? What did you two do for your first date?
We went to the firehouse in Venice, and then we went to like a little pub, and like we got like a Guinness float, and I knew that he was really special because like during the date like there was some of the Guinness float left, and I was like, oh, I don't even need to finish it, like I'm more interested in like talking to him.
You don't have to drink away the pain of the awkwardness.
Or like he was even better than a sweet treat, and I have like a huge sugar tooth.
So sorry, what's the Guinness thing? I just assumed you're talking about like a Irish car bomb.
It was like a root beer float, but with Guinness.
And there's ice cream in it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, I had no idea.
It's weird. It was random.
That's cool.
And then we walked along like the beach, and there was a weird like helicopter with like a searchlight going on, and we were like, oh, what's that? And he like told me this story about how one time he was at work for like a movie night or something. It was like a Friday, and it was just everybody finished work, and it was just like hangout time, and there was like they went on lockdown because there was like a weird like search helicopter, and they're like, let's just stay inside the building until this gets cleared up. Yeah.
What's weird is I remember in Fractional Promised the one night when you cried.
During the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that like I think that was like one of the few times where I like wasn't using a trick. Like I wasn't thinking of anything of my own life. It was kind of more like
It read spontaneous.
Yeah.
It was really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, that was cool. That was like a cool surprise. Yeah.
So how long have you been acting for?
Well, I mean, it was like the fun thing that me and my brother would do, like ever since I've been like 5 or 6, you know, like going to theater camps and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did a lot of like theater in like middle school and high school. Then went to college for theater.
Did you ever act with your brother? Have you acted with him?
I've done some, yeah. I did like some plays like at a community theater with him, and then I made like
What plays?
one of them was Grease.
Who are you in Grease?
Just on the ensemble.
Why weren't you?
I was like 8
Why weren't you Sandy?
because I was 8, and that would be.
But why was there an 8-year-old in Grease anyways?
Because it was community theater.
Right, but how old was the leads?
They were probably like 15, 16.
Were you like one of the beauty school dropouts, or who were you?
Yeah, I was like basically every extra. So I would be like a high schooler, like just dancing. And I remember one section, like I was dancing with my brother, and I was like this would be weird, like if we were at the high school dancing together.
Oh, it's like a slow dance?
No, it was like swing dancing. That would be really weird.
So do you remember any of the songs from Grease?
Yeah.
What's your favorite song from Grease?
I think
I'm trying to guess what your favorite one is.
I think I like them all like pretty equally. The Summer Nights is fun.
Now I'm just imagining you and your brother singing Summer Nights to each other.
There's this one song where it's just like a really simple song with it's just like this guy playing a guitar.
Can you sing it?
It's like he's like G G G G major A 7 C C C CCDB, ba 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 da da.
But those aren't. Is that what he actually says?
Yeah, he like says the chords, and then
This is in Greece?
This is in Greece, but it might be like an actual song. Like I don't think I think it might not be a song that was written for Greece.
They just put it in their production of Greece.
I think it might be in every production of Greece. Like how, what's another example? Like the Rock of Ages uses real songs, but Greece might just have one real song.
I understand what you mean. Like there's like the original songs for Greece, and then they'll like use like Rock Around the Clock.
Yeah, or something like that. But I'm not sure.
So how's this show? Do you like this show?
I like this show. Yeah. Yeah, I like this show a lot.
What do you not like about this show?
But I mean, obviously, I've also been gaining a lot of weight, but yeah.
I think I'm the only things that like I can interpret in that are like very selfish, like based off of my performance. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to like be like, what I don't like about this show, like from a.
What do you not like about performing with me?
Nothing. No, I think for me, like, the one thing with this show is, like, I feel... I think it would be cool to have a little bit more of a peak. Like, I feel like I don't... Maybe this is just, like, a weird thing that I'm wrong about, but in my mind, like, that one portion where it's like, I need help. Like, in my mind, like, that should be, like, a climax with, like, angry tears and like just be like, you know, hilarious, but just like also like emotionally raw and stuff like that. And I haven't been able to get that.
Why do you think that is? The direction.
I haven't been able to get it in
the direction.
No. No, I think maybe stamina. I think stamina and just lack of, like, not practicing enough, probably.
Do you want to practice it right now?
Not really. Do it tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. I know I won't.
How many times have you been interviewed before?
I don't know. Like, a handful of times?
When were you interviewed before?
For Key Club in high school.
What the fuck? I know what that is. What is that?
Yeah, it's like a community service club.
What'd you do in it?
I was the president of it.
You were president of Key Club?
For
Did
my
you have a
senior
jacket?
year. No. I had a shirt. I had a purple shirt.
What do you do in Key Club?
Community service.
What does that mean?
Like...
It's like make sure it's only white people in your neighborhood?
No, the exact
No,
opposite.
no.
I was the only white person in Key Club, which
Really?
is why I loved it so much.
What was everyone else in it?
Everyone else was Asian.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. There were a couple of other ones. But I was not a good president. I was really bad.
I'm trying to guess why you were a bad president. Is it because you ruled with an iron fist?
No, because I didn't delegate. Because
you
I
were
was
trying to do everything?
I was trying to do everything because I felt bad about delegating, and then I was incompetent. So like this stuff, like I just did a really bad job.
I think that's a really interesting idea for a thing. Like someone that doesn't delegate and is incompetent.
But it was nice. Yeah.
That's cool too. So like nice, incompetent, and refuses to delegate. I really like that.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Like, just like a really weird mixture of control. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess it's weird. I guess when I think of you, I don't really think of control.
I have like, I think I don't know, I think about it a little better, but I remember in school, or just in situations in general, for some reason, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this now. I have to do it later. Because I'll be like more prepared or something like that. Or it has to be a certain way. And now I'm like, no, just do it now. Like, you have what you need, just do it now. It's kind of like vague, but like if I was doing a worksheet in school, I was like, oh, I'll just do this later because I probably can't do it now. And it's like, no, just do it now.
Okay. What kind of grades did you get in high school?
I got straight A's.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your GPA?
4.0.
That's it?
Well, maybe a little higher. I didn't take that many APs, but in my high school, there could be unlimited valedictorians. All you had
Were
to
you a valedictorian?
Yeah, because all you had to do was get straight A's. Anyone could be a valedictorian.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you.
My sister was the valedictorian.
That's awesome. See, that's impressive because she was the only one, right?
Jesse, were you the only valedictorian?
No.
Right.
Oh.
Same thing.
Anybody with a 4.0 or above.
What was your GPA?
I got 4.1 maybe, 4.0, something like that. I was on the low end I was an idiot in comparison to all the valedictorians.
Yeah, I did, and I didn't take any like the AP science classes, which were like the hard ones.
Right. Yeah.
Like I took AP history, I took AP lit, and I thought one more, but maybe not.
So what is your approach to acting?
So, it's still in development, but I think my approach is to just get it, if that makes sense. Like, it's the get it method. So, step one of getting it, get it academically. Get it here. Do your research. Take your notes. Know every word that you're saying. Even if your character doesn't know what it means, you know what it means. Do your structure research. Do your playwright research. Watch your playwright while they sleep. Learn everything about them. And just like, no. And then the second part is get it. And like do whatever it takes to like feel good doing and saying what you're doing.
So how do you approach that if you don't feel good?
Basically just try a lot of different stuff. Like with this play, like I wasn't feeling good for like 90% of the time, right? And then that last week we went to the airport, and you said like speech and debate, and I was like, okay, now I feel good. Now it's fun. Like now I feel like I don't feel ashamed of having people like take time out of their lives to come watch. You know what I mean?
You were feeling that way. You were feeling ashamed.
But not ashamed. Like more guilty. Like more like, why can't I do this right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're doing it right now?
Definitely writer. I think there's probably lots of stuff that I could be doing better, but I think I'm doing this play better than the last play, and so that feels really good.
Why do you feel like you're doing this play better than the last one?
Because last time I feel like there were some lines where I'm like, I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. You know what I mean?
Do you remember any of the lines that you can't remember, or like you're just like, I don't get it?
Just half of them. But like this play, I feel like every line I say, like I have like the thought to go with it. I have like the, like the action with it. Even if it's stupid, even if I'm doing the same thing 50 times, it's like there.
Like with the last one, there wasn't enough action tied to things.
Yeah, I feel like for the last one, I feel like it was a lot of like just flatlining and a lot of like getting in the habit and like the automation and like the fact that we would be down to an hour 15 and like I wasn't like reacting as much. You know what I mean? So this time I feel like I'm doing a better job reacting and listening and like just not being overly habitual.
So what type of notes do you take? Or how has it been like, because I remember at some point I asked you to stop taking notes.
Yeah, totally.
Because what are your notes usually what do they usually encompass?
So like research notes, and then basically just like taking down word for word like what you say sometimes, right? Like if you give me something,
Uh-huh.
and then and then like just like big picture ideas, you know. Like I'm trying to remember some of the notes that I took down for this, but just like trying to figure out who she is and like what she cares about and things like that, you know.
How do you reconcile that idea of like taking down what I say and like putting it into your brain or like your actions?
I think for me it helps like taking your direction just on the nose and just doing what you say.
Even though like most of the time I'm wrong.
But here's the thing, I think like it's so helpful because it's like a specific thing to do. Like I feel like usually when you give me a note, it's because I'm not doing anything. And then you give me a note, it's a specific thing to do, and then that's more like of a stepping stone to go someplace. Either like, okay, yeah, that felt good, do that, or that didn't feel good. Well, does that
And then
mean
you'll
we
try
do the
something else.
opposite, or
Yeah.
different shade, or like, yeah.
So how is it for then me being like, stop taking notes?
I think it's been good. I think it's been really good because one thing that I learned from this play too is I think character is kind of like the main nugget. Maybe not all the time, but I think a lot of time if you find the character, then like you don't have to worry about like notes for like individual lines or individual sections because you can just react.
Right, so it's like, yeah, I think I know what you mean. That like for Bennett, so much of it just derives from who she is or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like that's kind of like how your plays work, where that's what I love about them, just like that they can go in a million different directions, right?
So it was part of the problem with the last one, like you just never could put your finger on who the character was.
Yeah, I think so. And when you said like make fun of me, like I was like, okay, I kind of get it. But now I feel like I get it better because I know
What do you
you
mean?
better. Like when you're like make fun of John,
Uh-huh.
like I feel like I didn't know you well enough to do that. But I feel like now,
When do you think like our relationship changed?
I think that day when you were like, when we were rehearsing outside and you were just like, I just act weird so you can act weird.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because before that, what was it for you?
Before that, it was a lot of like me feeling like I'm doing the wrong thing.
When would I make you feel that way too?
Yeah, because it's like, oh, what do you read? Fuck off. You know what I mean? So I'm just kind of like, I just get this like anticipation of like, oh, if I say this, he's gonna react that way.
Uh-huh.
But now I get it. The lesson, not the lesson, but the fun isn't like, oh, what's the right thing to say to me? The fun is like, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't matter.
Right, it's almost like it's none of my business, so you can say whatever you want.
Yeah,
Right.
totally.
That must be annoying.
No, it is fun. It's just like something that I'll never, well, maybe I will, but whenever I try to match you, like whenever I try to do the same, I just feel awful. Like it doesn't feel fun.
But you're funnier than me.
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think so, no.
Oh. I'm sorry. Yeah, that is annoying to like, just like, always have a conversation with someone, and it's always right. It's like right. It's always yeah. That sucks. I'll stop doing that.
No, don't. I'm just getting used to it. I finally have.
Well, now that you're finally comfortable with it, I'll stop doing it. What do you want to do?
Like in life in general.
Whatever.
I want to. I'm a bunch of different things. Like, I want to like feel like I got career right. That's one thing, and I want to have a career in acting, and I want to have a career in making stuff. I want to make stuff that's really cool, that like I'm proud of, that like has like a positive impression in the world, even if it's just like, oh, that's funny, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's great. Like, I just want to make like good quality stuff, and I want to make things of value that make it so I deserve to be paid, and I want to be paid enough to like feel secure and happy.
So I don't pay you enough.
No, you pay me like the most that I've ever made from like an acting gig. You pay me a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I'm very thankful.
Yo, that's weird. Yeah.
Oh.
No, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
okay, yeah. Yeah, you set this interview up just to have them
How's your movie going?
It's coming along. I'm gonna like color grade a whole bunch tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
I have to get the credit sequence. I have to figure out this composer stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're done.
What are you gonna do next?
I'm gonna write another thing. I have a bunch of like really silly like sketch ideas.
Uh-huh.
So I'm trying to think if I want to do another short, if I want to do like a bunch of different sketches. I would really like to, like I said, start working towards like finding like things of value, like things that I value.
What do you value?
Like, I'm not sure what I value that I create yet. I know like there's a lot of things that I value that I consume.
What do you mean?
Like, just there's a lot of in terms of like TV shows and movies, there's just like a lot of stuff where I'm like, man, that was entertaining, and I'm really glad I got to watch that. That was super fun, and like makes me feel good about my day. Like, it didn't feel like a time suck. The Office, Malcolm in the Middle, so many movies. Like, every movie I've seen, mostly. Every good movie I've seen,
What did you learn from making your first film?
This Mr. Goat one?
Yeah.
Don't rush the writing.
Uh-huh.
Be like, don't film it until you feel like really like happy with it.
Uh-huh.
And you're like proud of the story, and like basically I used Mr. Goat was like just kind of like, I feel like it was a little bit like, I think the idea was really fun,
Uh-huh.
but I think the execution like wasn't 100% truthful, if that makes sense. Or there was like other fun stuff that I could have played with. But
Why did you go full speed ahead with it then?
because I just wanted to get it done.
Yeah.
And I had, I had other people that I was like hiring and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
And so it was like, just get done. So I'm happy that it got made.
Yeah.
Like, I think I would prefer to have it made the way it is now than have it be perfect and never made.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. And it's like, I don't know if I...
How many passes did you take at the script?
Not a whole lot, like 5.
Yeah.
And it was all mostly like dialogue changing,
Uh-huh.
and then that's the other thing that I learned is like every time you're learning something new, you can, for me, it's helpful to like research how to do it. Like, I read Story by Robert McKee,
Uh-huh.
and like having that guide, like having that book, like just is really helpful. Like, oh, it's not all about dialogue. Like, you can do the structure first, do the character planning first,
Mm-hmm.
and then the dialogue is just kind of like a fun thing to write, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's the complete opposite. Right.
Yeah. Totally.
What are you gonna do tonight?
Probably hang out with Tom.
What are you two gonna do?
Maybe watch a movie.
What movie?
We've been wanting to watch 28 Days or
28 Days Later?
Yeah. Wait. Is that the zombie one? Yes.
That's a really good movie.
Yeah.
It's really good. It scared the shit out of me.
I was so surprised when you were scared of the ghosts.
Not scared of the ghosts.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
when we were talking about ghosts last weekend, I was really expecting you to be like, oh, not to believe in ghosts.
Do you mean when the dude was talking about it?
Yeah. When you told us, when you were like to yell, like, don't, like, dismiss the ghosts.
Oh yeah, I mean, why not? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what's the point in saying no to something you don't know anything about?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like me being like, there's no such thing as a thing. That's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. What's the point in poo-pooing things?
Yeah.
Except for whatever I automatically poo-poo that I don't realize I do.
I don't think I've seen you do that.
But yeah, no, it's fun to be scared of stuff and to like, yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it is.
What's your middle name?
What do you think? What's your guess?
Paul.
That would be good.
Melissa.
Wow, you are close. Oh, Melissa Samuel. But it does start with an
Michelle.
M. Yeah.
Wow.
I think I told you that
No,
already.
you didn't tell me
I
that.
think I typed it up on the thingy.
What thing?
Like the written interview last time.
Oh, I didn't read that. No, I'm kidding. Would you do another play with me?
I would love to do another play with you.
But
Right now, I want to try to like get some film stuff going.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But like, I don't think those two things are mutually exclusive.
Uh-huh. So what film things are you gonna get going?
Basically, like
I'm never gonna see you again after Saturday. That's what you're saying.
No. Basically, I just like want to make myself. I want to have like a portfolio. You know what I mean? Like I want to make myself hireable. I want to like have stuff to show for myself.
Absolutely.
You know. So I think this first movie will be really good.
Uh-huh.
And then like I don't know if I want to film just like a couple of like sketches or like what I want to do exactly. I just want to make stuff that makes me hireable and that's cool stuff.
What's your favorite book? What size shoe do you wear?
Like 8 or 8.5. Sometimes like 8 wide.
Is there a day that you deserve to die?
Oh,
Is there, you know what I mean?
probably. I have a story where I hurt someone else, but they were the one that got in trouble.
What's that?
Like, I was visiting a friend and I blocked this woman's driveway. And
Is that why you're always worried about driveways?
No, I'm always worried about your driveway because one time I was backing out of a driveway where you have to curve and I crashed into her bumper and then I had to pay like $400 to fix her bumper.
Not up here.
No,
Right,
that was
right.
like a couple years ago. But this time, like I did such like an awful job parking. I was like parked like on the curb and like blocking the driveway and I just didn't realize. I was like tired, dumb, and there were no street lights. And I didn't look. And I was just like, parking was hard to find. So I was like, oh, I guess this is fine. Like really dumb. I came out like an hour and a half later. I get in my car and there's this woman like in this big like SUV and she comes and just cuts me off and like blocks me in my car. She's like screaming and like furious at me, and like my first instinct is like, oh, you're blocking me. She's like, no, you stay right there. And like she gets out of the car, she's like yelling at me, and she's the woman whose driveway I blocked, and like she's so mad at me, and I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. She's like, I'm gonna call the police on you, and I'm like, yeah, that's fair, that's totally fair, like please do. And so the police, like, we just wait for a while. She's like, she goes in her car for a minute, and I'm like, is she getting out a gun? Like, what am I gonna do if she gets out a gun? But she was getting out like a piece of paper and a notepad, and she's like, if you don't want to stay, I can just take your driver's license. And I was like thinking about it, and I was like, no, I'm not. That, like, if I give her my driver's license, she could look up my address and stuff like that. So I was like, oh no, we'll just wait for the police to come. The police come, and like, I'm in the wrong. I'm the one who did a horrible job and made her life inconvenient. They go up to her, they get the story, they go up to me. I'm like, I did a really horrible job parking, and she's upset.